got a watch on.
Oh,
What time is it? No, take it off.
10 to 8.
10 to 8. Okay, now, what does your job mean?
Keep people from splitting, observe them, the conversations, and keep them in the departments.
And so keep people from splitting. Okay. Be aware of them, that covers everything. Okay. Keep them in their departments.
You have to make sure that, that no negativity goes down.
Okay, your activity goes down. Tony?
Move people as quickly, as smoothly, and efficiently.
Yeah, that's the dictionary explanation. Move people. Alright, the first thing you have to recognize as expediters, okay, is that everybody hates your guts. Understand?
Yeah.
There's nobody in that house that likes you. You can be a department head and be liked. You can be a coordinator and be liked. You can be a ramrod and be liked. But it is almost impossible to be an expediter and be liked. The reason why is all these other positions are viewed as, well, you're doing your job, you're performing a kind of a function which is necessary to make the house run. You produce a product. Like the business office produces population sheets. Okay, the communications produces seminars. The laundry produces shirts. The coordinators make sure everything gets produced. What do you guys produce?
Make sure that they
Use haircuts, shot downs.
Busting people.
contracts.
Well, if that all goes on, produce haircuts.
Laziness.
No, listen, no, that's what you catch.
Yeah.
Your product is haircuts, shots, general meetings, house meetings, apologies in morning meeting, consequences. And what people look at you as, you're caught in a rock and a hard place. Because people look at you as, if they're negative, they look at you as a rat. If you're positive, they look at you as somebody that they can't be close to, because when you walk into a room, conversation stops. Okay, if two people sitting down in a dining room, all of a sudden, for no fucking reason at all, one gets up and walks. Understand? When you go into your dorms and go to sleep, a whole bunch of people are fooling around, everybody becomes very solemn. Right? Because the product that you produce is change. And in the form of change come haircuts and everything else. Also, you're looked at, know it or not, as coordinators in the same light. Okay, although they react more to you, okay, though there's more room for them to disrespect you, okay, you're looked at as elite. Because people say, well, what the fuck do they do? They walk around with their pads all day. I can do that, anybody can do that. They don't realize that you get blasted. Okay, they don't realize that there's just demands made on you. They don't realize how fatiguing the job is. Okay, the point is, all they look at is that you don't do any physical work, because they never see you sweeping a floor, mopping a kitchen, cleaning a dish, GIing a stove. Okay, so look at you, is they look at you as something which is a necessary evil. They can't do anything about making you go away. So they do the next best thing, which is just to ignore you. And that's why people who go into expediting get confronted with two major feelings. For one, they become very lonely, and number two, they become very depressed. They become lonely because all those people that were there before they went into expediting, all of a sudden change up on them. Okay, they become depressed because they find out the only people they can relate to are other expediters. So you find that when you started this job, although you're not close, or you weren't close when you started, you're beginning to gravitate towards one another. And the reason you're beginning to gravitate towards one another is because outside the coordinator staff, you're all alone. There's not another person in our house, including department heads, all right, including a guru, all right, including anybody who does not feel vulnerable to what you produce. So therefore, they stay as far away from you as they would a poisonous snake. So that's the first thing you got to recognize. that you're in this alone. That if you don't stick together as expediters, that they will destroy you methodically, individually, one by one. Now you ask yourself, how will they destroy us? Okay, it's really simple. They destroy you because the first thing people do to expediters is what?
Busting the balls.
Try to make contracts.
They try to slide up to you all the
Right.
time.
They try to make contracts. Right? And the point I'm bringing out is you got to recognize why. They're either one or two things to you. Either they're Bobby Jones, who's a ball buster, okay, or people, Eddie Reefer, who slides up to you and says, gee, how you doing? How's everything?
See, if they think he'll accept his shit.
Right, exactly. All right, you see, what you're doing is, if you take out what you do and take the name away, you're the police force of the house. Okay, and if you look at another factor, who is the only people that can check you? You have internal checks, and the next level that can check you is the coordinators. And even amongst the coordinators, only two can check you. All right, you're the single most powerful unit in the house. These are all things I'm sure you never realized. But that's what you are. You are the single most powerful unit in the house, the strongest functioning department. Because virtually the only people who can deal with you are your own coordinator, the COD only with permission from your own coordinator, understand, your internal checks, and the staff. You're immune to department heads, ramrods, gurus.
So does that mean that departments, they cannot tell experts what to do?
They don't.
Okay, for instance, I'll be helping to call to the dining room, and I'll go up to the department head and say, you want to go in the dining room? They'll say, don't give me a direction. Like, I can't tell them because they feel like, they're higher than me.
Well, there's a way to deal with them, okay? You book them. And what'll happen is your chief will deal with them, and your shin deal with them. And then eventually, if they keep doing it, you'll deal with them.
Okay.
Understand what I'm talking about? Because your power has to be absolute. That's why the demands on you are so great. Okay, that's why, if you wonder why you get so many haircuts, or you get so many tests, or because we have to constantly check your authority, because it is so fucking absolute. Because you can do just anything that you want to do. And that's very dangerous, right? But anyway, I don't want to get into that trip. The point I'm bringing out is this, that you're all alone. Okay, there is not another single person in this house that's going to pull you in. And you better believe that, okay? You better believe that only those who are really positive and have nothing to hide are going to extend any kind of friendship to you while you're in this position. Believe me, when you get your job changed to department head, people who are expediters always go up. Understand? You never go down for that. You go up. You go up to a label. Because if you work through here, you deserve a label. It's just that simple. So the point is, that's another thing that makes people envious. All right, that you almost have guaranteed success if you work good. You're almost guaranteed your own department. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Because that makes them jealous, because there's a lot of ambivalence and ambiguities in your job. They never know what they're going to get. They can bust their balls as a communications worker and maybe only get ramrodded out. Or they can break their ass on the service crew and maybe only get worker in communications. But they can't say, I will have a department. All they know is they'll get a job change. They don't know what it'll be. But you know that you'll get your own departments. It's just that the point I'm bringing out is this, that the first thing you have to learn, and this is the rule of thumb, you never disrespect each other on the floor. You never bicker in front of each other on the floor. And you never put each other down in front of other people on the floor. And if you look carefully enough, you look at the coordinators, even when they're wrong, the coordinator is wrong, he doesn't get put down in front of the residents on the floor.
I never seen disrespect
because they don't. Just don't do it.
they work together.
Right, and if something has to get dealt with, it gets dealt with behind closed doors, okay, internally. It's just that simple, man.
To clear something once and for all, because, all the coordinators have been given one mission to deal with, tamper with, and I am the expert.
No?
So it's blanket. They don't deal or, sound, it used to be crazy. Any coordinator could blast an expert or dump
Well,
them on
we're in a new house now.
Okay. So
Okay.
I'm going to spread the word.
Okay. So the point is, that's the first thing you learn. That's a standard rule. you break that rule, you ought to, and you ought to make sure the person who breaks it gets killed by the rest of you. Because you're not going to get any mercy from the rest of the house. And I don't know if you see that already. I don't know if you've had your jobs long enough. In other words, how long did you get Kelly? Yeah. Did you have a lot of friends before Expeditor? Okay, who? And who else? Okay, now, what happened to those two as soon as you left Expeditor? Okay, that's the other thing you want to talk about, but remind me to come back to that level. How about you?
Well, I was had a remark in it's a difference in the much. It's with
How do people relate to you since you've been Expeditor?
What you said about that deep from rain, because he does that.
Slides up to you now?
I'm starting to look at Rick, and I sort of see it with so no one ever comes up to try to talk to me anymore.
Right. Nobody asks you how you feel. Walk into your room at night, what happens? What if you go into the dorm at night?
Yeah.
And there's 3 or 4 guys talking, sitting around, fooling around. You can hear them laughing coming in. What happens as soon as you walk in?
Sometimes it just stops.
What happens most of the time?
It gets lower. It's hard to
Start
hear.
talking about feelings, all this
So
stuff.
they start talking about,
I'm gonna
I can't tell you, I have to really start actualizing my fears, and I can't tell you how many areas I've been working on, and right, all of a sudden all positive shit comes flowing out.
Or else they say, just change the subject for a second, and I would be with enough. That comes up a lot.
Do you ever find that they tell you what they were talking about? They try to say, come on over here, come on over here. We were just talking about this, blah, 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 blah. What do you think? You ever find that?
They never use it.
Yeah,
You see what I'm talking about? It's a nice way of get you to think that they were talking about X. What else?
Yeah, that is it.
All right, what about you?
I don't know, when people let me talk to them more like Steve Hayes when he everyone else doesn't have time, or say, well, you're getting too dependent, you should talk to so-and-so, talk to someone else.
Okay, what about you?
I've been in the kitchen zone with Sherry Warren and I. We started getting pretty tight over at 6. We were tight at 5. And we went through a lot of stuff together. Now that I'm in the kitchen, it's like I'm coming sick, and every time I give her a couple, I pull her up on something, and then I gotta come down harder on her. Then it's a direction, and all of a sudden I'm sick on it. The same with Cindy Case, especially the department heads. I have a big trouble with them.
How about you?
Yeah, well, I was like Bill and that Mark, Bill and I were always been kind of tight since we've been going through the house and like we're all together, but I was friends with like Rick Finkel Point, and like now I haven't even talked to Rick at all.
And he won't talk to you.
I was friends with Russ Singer before, like totally stays away from me, like he doesn't near me.
Okay. So let's recognize why they don't come in with you. Okay? Take notes. Understand because that's what it's all about. The reason they don't come near you, gentlemen and ladies, is because this isn't half for you. Contempt. Understand? And the reason they have contempt is because you deal with their garbage. You're always talking about who's the gorillas, who's the playboys, who's the stuffers, who are the people who manipulate, who are the people who bad rap, and you have all this down in your pads, or you will have after today. But the point I'm bringing out is that's the reason that they don't come around you. Because being around you, they never know when you're really doing your job and when you're being yourself, or if you ever can be yourself without doing your job. You see what I'm talking about? And it's very hard because you can't. When you're a Expeditor, if you're a ramrod, you can be in communications, you give directions, you're tough in communications, you can leave your job at the office. You know what I'm talking about? And you can go out into the floor and be yourself. But if you're an Expeditor and you got free time, you can't do that, can you?
We always have to keep up the same, no matter whether we're in the dorms, whether we're eating, no matter what times, we always have to keep up the same image.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay? So, the first rule you learn, okay, gentlemen? Come in. The first rule you learn. The first learn is that what?
His parents are going to Europe.
Yeah, the close screen. Yeah. Screen is cool. The point is, the first thing you realize, the only friends you have in the house, and I emphasize this because I have to, is yourself and your staff. The only people you can depend to defend you are your coordinators and the staff. Other coordinators will not defend you. Did you know that?
Because they see you causing problems. They place the
Well,
names in the
because
department.
you present problems to them.
Because they're a department. Yeah.
Because when you make a run for your coordinator in their department, and you come out with a big poop sheet of what's wrong, they get killed in the fucking ass. Now they know who gave them that data. They know who gave Ellen and Barry that data. They know it was the Expeditors. So they're directly a threat to other coordinators.
Another thing too.
Oh.
Understand what I'm talking
Yeah, I
about?
do, yeah.
Because they look at you as you are what can get them shut down. You are a direct extension of the staff.
Can I say something too?
Yeah.
And it's incredible because I've been both a coordinator and an expediter. How coordinators can, like, they'll be gearing haircuts and everything, and they don't look at it. The expeditors pull people out of their departments, and they actually do get hostile at the expeditors without looking at the fact that all they're doing is taking the haircuts, and they still get mad at the expeditors. They look at them as stealing people out of their department.
But the point is, recognize that, okay? That you're not going to get any help from coordinators. All right? Don't count on the coordinator of communications to support you. Understand? Only support you if it is so fucking obvious he can't do anything else but support you. 9 times out of 10, the editor's theme is let's kill the expeditors. The coordinator's theme is let's kill the expeditors.
You know, the coordinators.
Oh, yes. Right. Let's kill them. Kill them.
I remember that
Am I right or
used
wrong?
to be at 6 because
Okay.
all the time if we didn't answer like right away or we didn't get something
That's
right
a
away.
way that's something that's unpreventable. Understand what I'm talking about? But also there's feelings that come out in that vein. Understand? Because obviously if you're going to be in a position to make them lose their job, then they're going to make sure you do your job. The checks and balances work very well.
So you think that they're
Okay.
more or less threatened by us, and that's what it seems?
No, not threatened in terms of threatening that you have more growth and that you have. They're threatened because you're the only department in the house that can make them lose their job outside of that.
Busting at what they're doing, whatever they're
Understand?
talking about,
Yeah,
not,
right.
not doing their job.
Because if you come up to me and you book them, you see two coordinators bad rapping, and you book them, okay, we deal with them. Who really took their job away?
We did.
Right. You took your job away. All I did was deal with the incident you gave me. Okay? If you make a run on their department and they killed for not doing anything, who really dealt with them?
No, it's your direct line. You're making a run.
Exactly. You have the information that shoots them down. Okay? And they know that. And that's why everybody in that house is scared to death. And that's why everybody in that house, as soon as you do one thing wrong, will jump all over you. You're not supposed to be in here. So-and-so said it. Okay? What are you doing? Then you blah, 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 blah. Every time you do one thing wrong, 10 people will jump on you. The morning meeting, understand, if you check the pull-up sheet, okay, you never find any pull-up about the Expeditors, do you?
Not by other experts.
Only by the expert. How come nobody ever pulls you up?
They're afraid how we'll come down on
They
them.
don't want to invoke your wrath.
They don't want to get your
The whole idea is you leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. Don't talk to me, I won't talk to you. We'll both live in the same house, we'll smile. I'll be friendly, I'll be docile, but leave me alone. You got it?
Yeah, I do.
Understand? That's the attitude. That's the attitude of now, getting down to the job. Pass up that little pack. Okay, this here is your guidebook. It's your flashlight. Understand? It's your eyes and your ears. because you cannot retain everything in your head. It's impossible. The reason we give you these books is really simple. It's so that you will have amongst yourself a coordinated approach to how you deal with behavior. For instance, the first page of every book should have this. Split. Got it? The people who will potentially will split. Okay? The next thing you should have on your book are guerrillas. Yeah, intimidators, guerrillas, whatever terminology you choose to use internally. Okay, these are people, guerrilla people. Alright, the next thing you should have on your book are playboys. Okay? These are people who go around cracking on girls, insulting women by relating to them like chauvinists, that whole thing, okay?
From that, you would do playboys and girls, which is two-way street on that.
Right. Okay, let's just get everything, okay? It goes all ways, okay? Playboys and then playgirls, okay? Like Cindy Case, okay? All right, so, and then the next thing you should have, so in other words, you should be able to open this page, okay? And every page, like if I'm working with you, right? I should be able to open to, let's say, power people. Okay, who do you have down there for power people? Okay, now what do we mean by power people? Eddie Reefer. Understand? Eddie Reefer is a power people. You know what that? Somebody who shits on everybody. Power, I want power. I want to be department head. I want to be chief expediter. I want to be this, and I'll kill to be. Understand?
But he does it very sneaky.
No, he doesn't. He does it on people who don't that.
Right.
Okay. Like Debbie Barnard and people like that. Understand?
Mm-hmm.
But he uses them to look good. All right. And if you find you his department, okay, nothing's going on. You find if you walk through his department, he's bombing Debbie Barnard hour after hour after hour.
And the thing is, it's his crap. It's not John's.
Yeah, but the point is, he fools everybody because he has Debbie Barnard do it. Understand? He has Debbie Barnard take the weight, and he looks good at Debbie Barnard's expense. The point is, you take all these people, and you put them down in the categories that you make up. Understand? Now let's make some of them up, okay? You have the splitters. You have gorillas. You have to pardon my spelling, okay? You have the playboys.
The suicides.
Okay? You have the playgirls. Okay? You have the non-relators.
Woodworkers.
Okay? No, non-relators and woodworkers are different. Understand? Non-relators are people who volunteer to clean the kitchen, who function, now that you've got television a lot, instead of going and talking, you'll be in there watching TV. Understand what I'm talking about? Something like that. You make sure they do everything in moderation.
Yeah.
Okay? You got the non-relators, you got the over-relators. Okay, you know who those are? People like Sherry Warner, please feel sorry for me. She traps people and talks to them for hours after hours, you know, and never really does anything for herself. Okay? You have the woodworkers. Okay?
Like,
You have the people, like Eddie Reefer. Some of these people fall into two categories, you know.
attention seekers, babies.
Okay? The people who fuck with the expediters. Okay, you know what I mean? You know, it goes on and on and on, because that's what these books are for. At any given time, Tony should be able to say to you, bring two expediters, look at their books, and they should be within 10% of each other, within one name of each other.
Okay, so that would mean like really all the extra should get together and meet like consistently and decide and put people.
Oh, before you go on the floor, understand? Before you even hit the fight, you have to have an expedited meeting as to how you're going to gear the day. Because you see, you also gear the day. Understand? The coordinator makes up the plan, you enforce it.
But when they say like that we set the pace, like I really don't understand how we set the pace.
Well, we run that.
If all the expediters are
I'll
split
show
in
you
the
how you
house,
set the pace, okay? The coordinator comes out of the meeting from the night before, and he says, here's what's going to happen. We're going to have function today, we're going to then function up to lunch, then we're going to have seminar, after seminar we're going to have groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's the theme, right? Now there needs to be enforcement in that theme. What happens is, you make sure people function and they stay in their departments. You make sure they're not wandering in the halls. You make it uncomfortable for them. If they're trapped in their department, they've got to do one or two things, work or get dealt focus.
Okay.
If lunch comes, you make it very uncomfortable for them because maybe somebody wants to steal a pack of cigarettes. Yet they can't get up lunch because you're herding them until lunch. Understand? You're making sure everything goes out on time. Everything is on time. All right? If the coordinator says to you, listen, make sure they get out of the dining room by 1:15, you come in there, crack the fucking whip, and they get out. Department heads and everybody. Understand what I mean? And they hate you for it. Because you stop them, just by your presence, from doing things that are negative. From sneaking up to the fucking dorm and stealing. Okay? From sneaking upstairs and hiding. From bringing their guitars downstairs in the room and playing them. Understand what I'm saying? You stop them from doing all that. So that's what they say by you running the house. Because we set the game plan. Understand? You actualize it. You're the enforcers of the house. Understand? The house cannot run without you. If you didn't do your job, the coordinators would have to do your job. The house cannot run without you. You are the only department that the house cannot run without. It can run without communications. You know, it may not run good, but it can run without it. It can run without the business office. It can run without the service crew. You can get volunteers to clean the living room, but it cannot run without trained expediters. Because if you didn't have trained expediters, you'd have mass negativity, splitting, all kinds of fucking craziness, people getting down with one another. Wait, let me finish, okay? You are what stops that. Not me, not her, not the other coordinator. They play a part in it. You are the thing that stops it. Because the coordinators aren't worried about seeing, the residents aren't worried about me up in the door, are they?
No.
They're worried about seeing you.
You're in direct line with the coordinator.
Yeah, but wait a minute. They're not worried about seeing me in the dining room or making a run in their department, are they?
In a way they are.
Yeah, but there's that natural fear if you're doing something wrong, so-and-so's going to see you. But the guy they're really worried about is you. Because that's your job. You're constantly moving, you're constantly looking. Let's face it, the reason I mind so much is because that's all you have to do.
Sure, they think you're traveling incident book.
Well, you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay?
Absolutely right. Let me see.
Sort of like have haircut, will travel. Know what I mean? That's right where the fuck it's at. Okay, so that's what your book is. Okay? The other thing is, you have to have a meeting in the morning. And the meeting is to gear up as people as to what you are going to do. Not only as how you're going to find out the theme of the house, because your chief meets with the COD, asks what's the theme, okay? What are we going to do? He communicates to the chief, brings it back to you, now the fun begins. He says, okay. Good example, right? Today should be a meeting. It's snowing like fucking hell. The possibility of having a split is pretty zilch. Alright? So we don't have to worry about too many splits today. When the weather starts changing, you open your book and you say, look, it's getting warmer, we're going to get a lot of splits. Let's make sure that when we work zones today, but we assign one expediter to cover nothing but the splitters in our book. See what I'm about? You make decisions as to where and how you're going to cover the theme of the house. And these are your internal decisions. When chief expediter and summer would break, okay, like May, March, April, when the snow would melt, people were getting ready to split. Because people split one of two times. Either when the snow melts or when holidays begin, like Christmas or Hanukkah. Understand? Because they get all fucked up emotionally and they're both. But the majority of splits take place between March and October. Either just before winter or just after winter. They either do it after the seeds or try to get the fuck out before it comes. Okay? And that's when they try to split. Now, very few people pull a Russ Singer.
Yeah.
Understand? Split in the middle of the fucking night in a storm. Okay, kind of crazy, right? But the majority of us do it the way we talked about. When I was chief expediter, Tommy, I did two things. Number one, I defended my staff. You notice that the business office has a crew. The service crew. The kitchen crew. The communications crew. But it's the expediter staff. Isn't for that. These are all things you had no fucking idea of, right?
Not really.
Think about it. The reason that the staff is incorporated into expediting. The only other time staff is used is for staff, coordinating staff, expediting staff. Everything else is crew. Understand? Which means your job is harder and it's more distinguishable and has more integrity. And that's why the word staffing. Okay? The other thing is, when I was a chief expediter, I defended the expediters like a fucking lion. Understand? And the reason I defended them was for the reasons we said. But also, if you don't defend them, nobody else will. Okay? Now the point is, when you in your meetings, and they got to be meetings every day, because you should have a meeting before the house really gets kicking, and after the house goes up. After the house goes to bed, is just to close up the house. Remember, you guys should always be the last to go to bed. You know, sit around, also snack at night. I don't know if you know that.
I kept telling the kitchen that.
Well, we'll take care of it. A lot of that's because you didn't know what to demand, so they didn't know what to give you. Alright, but the point is, keeping on track, okay? You sit down, and I used to say to my people, now I had a house with over 200 residents. I had 18 expediters on my staff, 4 shingles, okay, about spools, and the rest were trainees, okay? And they were assassins, man. Understand? That's exactly what the fuck they were. They didn't book anybody's shit. Okay? If coordinators reacted to them, they communicated it to me, I communicated it to my coordinator, because the single most powerful coordinator, outside of the senior coordinator, is the expediter. And the person who is always senior coordinator is always the coordinator of expediting. Understand? These are not coincidences.
I never really looked at it.
Understand what I'm
What
saying?
you're saying is,
So your coordinator has the ability to annihilate the rest of the coordinating staff. Because only he or she can say to another coordinator, knock on that fucking door. Okay? For fucking with you. You see what I mean? That doesn't happen in other departments. In other departments, they get booked and they gotta wait for the haircut to be done, etc., etc., etc. Now, getting down to the point, okay? I just had, what did I pay you?
You paid somewhere before.
Yeah, when he was doing that, when I was talking
but does that mean that if that the chief could know that what's happening with another coordinator could be booked with the chief?
well, that means that let's say Henry's on a run. Let's say Henry says something to a worker in communications. Coordinator happens to be there, turns around, bombs Henry for no reason. And just on the basis he doesn't like the fact that Henry came in his department and said that garbage can's not empty. Now I'm talking about make sure it's empty. Okay? Alright? Henry then comes back, tells the chief tells the coordinator, which in this case is you or her. Since you're not the senior, it'll get communicated to her. She then tightens up the coordinator. Understand? It's very important that you do that too. It's very important that the other coordinators recognize that when it comes to your expediters, they don't fuck around. Okay? Now, you have your meeting, okay? Now, we used to meet, for instance, let's say like this time of year, alright, if we didn't have a snow. Alright, the first thing we would say, okay, we got a big house, we got 2 ways to cover it. We can cover it running top to bottoms, where everybody's on the move all the time, okay, at which point by the time 12 o'clock rolls around, we're all fucking dead, okay, and during the night we all are you know, dragging our ass at 11 o'clock and we're not effectively efficient, or we can work at zones. So the first thing we would decide is we work zones, because it's the efficient way. The second thing we would decide is the weather is breaking, okay? Kelly will take the zone which will cover the dining room and the kitchen, okay? So you put a brick in front of the door is open, you get a chair, you sit there, you cover by your zone. Okay? Henry will cover the hallway, communications, in the business office. See what I mean? He will cover the living room, so-and-so, so-and-so. Everything gets assigned. You follow me? One extra will rove. Okay, you know what that means? Top to bottom, just be on the move. No specific place to go. Just move. Another expediter will do nothing but cover splits. Which means if you have 5 to split keys, he will make sure that wherever they are, that his mug is always in sight. If they're cleaning the dining room, he'll go in there, sit down, have a cup of coffee, let him know he's around. You know what I mean? Ask him questions and blah, blah, blah. He'll be just with those 5 splitters. Okay, so that you can't really prevent someone from it. All you can do is detect it.
Catch them as
Right.
a possibility.
Yeah, some, that's if you're lucky. If you're good, you catch it doing it. Understand? But most of the time, if you're good, you're really good, you'll catch them while they're doing it. And if you're good, you'll about it in less than a minute. Because if they're not there, the question is, see, that's why people won't come out of their departments when they're functioning. Not in their department, where are they? They're gone. Because you say that the department head, did you give so-and-so permission to leave? No, you just split. Understand? If someone leaves their department, understand? If someone leaves their department without permission, for all practical purposes, they are a split. And you regard it as one. You don't use any discretion there. They did not have permission. He is a split, and you communicate that he's split. And then if you find him, he'll get fucking for it. And that's how you keep them in their department.
You don't get killed for it? The guy who left his department?
Yeah.
Because if we did something like that at Waterford, we'd end up killed.
This is not fucking Waterford.
I know.
Understand? I'm tired of hearing Waterford.
So what you're saying, this is what
Understand?
I'm used to.
Okay? The part of the reason you're down here is because you're getting fucking growth up here. Okay? What?
I mean, okay, if somebody just leaves their apartment and didn't drop it on the ramrod or anything.
Well, then what is it?
They just walk out.
Where's it
right?
going? He's a split.
Okay.
So if you
But
find
he's still
him,
placed in the house, but he's still split, right?
yeah, and then he'll get killed for it.
like he's a split.
Understand? Then the weight is his.
Right.
You got what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
Because then what happens is, if he gets classified as split, what does it do?
Converges everybody getting on.
Oh, it embarrasses the fucking shit out of the coordinator. It just humiliates him.
Humiliates him enough that they're going to make
Understand what
sure
I'm
that
talking
he
about?
doesn't
Because here
leave.
come the expediters communicating there's a split. Who's so-and-so from communications? First thing, look, whenever coordinators hear anything or get dealt with, you know what goes through their minds when they're up there? I'm going to kill that fucking department head. Understand? I am going to kill him. All right? Because I told him to do it. Okay? I told him to do that and he didn't do it. So the point is, the first thing that's going to happen is all the other coordinators get that coordinator. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Can't you even take care of your own department? Obviously, it's going to come to the attention of the staff. So the coordinator's going to get bounced in the AM meeting. So he's not going to look forward to that. Understand what I mean? And when you classify it as split, you're going to find out, all you got to do it is for one day, 1 week, and it'll stop.
Is it something we can make an
Oh yeah, you just make an
From now on?
announcement.
Okay,
If
good.
you leave your department without proper permission, you are a
That's going like, if a ramrod doesn't drop on his department, he's considered split.
Right.
That will stop all the wandering in the house.
I'll have to change my tab.
It'll also cut down the amount of splitters.
Then they know.
Because only the real splitters will be gone. Understand? What?
Here and now, I'd like to end off and people who aren't expediters to do favors for expediters. Like, hey, will you make me a doorman instead of going to find Kelly to do it? Having, they don't.
Okay, wait a minute.
Ramrods.
Slow down. You're wrong in doing this. Slow down. Okay? That's wrong. Alright? Okay, now. Alright, now. Gotta stop doing that when you do it. You throw me right off the fucking track. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
Regarding people's splits and everything.
Okay, right. Regarding the split, now we're going to get all that in, right? But we've got to follow us in there. Now the point is, once you start doing that, okay, they will never, ever, ever. Does it click?
Yeah, shuts off on it.
Okay, they will. You'll make your job a lot easier. The second thing you discuss, okay, after you discuss zones, after you discuss splitters, okay, is the ball busters. Understand? There are certain busters who are going to bust your balls no matter what you do, how you do it. If you don't take care of these people once and for all, okay, what's going to happen?
They continue.
It's going to grow. It's going to grow. It's going to make your job harder.
Not even spread.
They're going to make you lose faith on people. Understand what I'm talking about? So the point I'm bringing out is, you sometimes take, like, you know, what is shingles while we're talking about all this? Anybody know? Shingles, well, there's two shingles, okay? One shingle stays in the office for communication. Understand? The other shingle stays on the floor. His job is to nail ball busters.
Well, on the floor is that.
Oh, that's right. Understand? His job.
Communicates it to the other shingle who deals with the guy.
Right. Yes, they can't follow me. Understand? Knock on that door. Boom. Okay? Instant fucking results. Okay? They broke his balls, they got nailed. Okay? They disrespected her, they got bombed. Okay? Right. That's why there's two shingles. One stays and takes communication. I just made it top to bottom, everything is fine. Okay? You know, you leave your zone for 5 seconds to communicate to the office, everything is good in my zone. See what I'm talking about? So-and-so is down the cellar, blah, blah, blah. All he does is take communication and document, keep the scratch up.
Makes decisions.
Right, but that's what he did, he keeps scratch up.
So then there isn't really a trainee or anybody's killing a scratch, and it's going to be a shingle in the
It's
office.
a shingle who's in the office. Everything gets communicated to him, and he keeps the scratch up from the office.
So we have them dealing in our office continuously. If our office is being dealt with.
You don't even have any.
Well, you can use an office, you can use a staff office if the staff are not in it.
Another problem is the we've been putting through.
Okay, we'll take care of that. We'll take care of that. One.